It's time for the Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 review for the PS2. I don't know if many people know, but this was actually the first PS2 game I bought for the console, and it's actually the game that made me want to get a PS2 in the first place. Yes, I sure love frequency and amplitude, but after saving up my coins from working at GameStop in the summer of '05, I bought a used PS2 and this game to go with it. Was it worth the PS2 investment? Let's find out. This is a 2.5D fighter, as the game plays similarly to a 2D game, but there are 3D elements such as sidestepping and auto-camera rotation. When you first begin, you can choose to play a versus match, but you won't have many characters to choose from. The real game is in Dragon Universe, where after you pick a character, you play through that character's timeline beginning with the Saiyan Saga. So, if you choose Goku for the first time, your first fight will be against Raditz, and your last will be against Kid Buu. After you choose a character, you'll take control of them on a world map, and you'll fly from place to place, activating static cutscenes and progressing the game with battles. The overworld you fly over has a map with a single red dot that references where you're supposed to go to progress the story. However, you can fly around anywhere for as long as you like, and in doing so, you'll eventually find certain areas you can visit that will have you interact with other characters. Sometimes they'll give you an item capsule, which could be a fighting skill, an item to use in battle, or special unlockables. Other times, it will trigger a side quest that you'll need to find and progress somewhere else on the map. You can also find money and capsules on the ground, but finding the Dragon Balls is something you won't want to overlook, as well as certain points that can unlock an attack unique to the character. I remember having fun when I was younger trying to find whatever item or interactable location I could on the map, but playing it again roughly 2 decades later makes me realize that blindly searching across the map for any type of interactable area isn't really that fun. The red dot is the only marker on the map, and everything else is hidden. You can go into a focus mode and look at your surroundings for areas of interest, but this doesn't help that much as you can't move while doing so. So, I can't help but to comb over every square inch of the world, and I would line up my characters so that they're facing 355 degrees and fly around in a slight angle just hoping to catch something. You don't have to engage in any of these optional areas, but you'll miss quite a bit if you don't. Once you pick the red dot, you'll usually trigger a fight. Canonically speaking, the fights are mostly accurate, but some are slightly off, such as with the battle with Raditz, Piccolo is nowhere to be seen. Or like when Gohan fights Super Buu, Gohan isn't supposed to completely defeat him like here, but I guess it wouldn't look right for the game to just stop in the middle and continue the story with a cutscene. These canonic irregularities aren't that big of a deal, but if you're looking for 100% accuracy, you'll have to look elsewhere. Some reenactments, though, you have to pull off yourself. After a fight, your character will gain experience and level up. I thought having this RPG element was interesting, and I overall liked it because I could refine my character to my playstyle. I thought it was cool how if you perform a certain action or move within a battle that is actually canon with the story, you'll gain bonus XP for doing this, and you'll be rewarded with an unlockable bonus, such as an audio clip. The fighting mechanics are pretty user-friendly, especially compared to Tenkaichi 3. It's not difficult to figure out and perform the movesets, but there are some advanced moves that demand near frame-perfect accuracy to pull off, such as instantly teleporting behind your opponent as a counterattack. Characters have a standard punch and kick combo, with light combinations available. Chaining them with each character's signature key move is always fun, and then there are the ultra attacks. Performing an ultra attack requires you to first activate Hyper Mode, which is easily done by pressing L2. Afterwards, your character will turn red, and you have a limited amount of time to get to your opponent as your current key gauge determines how long you last in hyper mode. If you fail to do anything, you'll run out of stamina for a few seconds, and most characters who are in a transformation state will revert back to their normal state. If, however, you can land an attack that blasts your opponent back and press circle immediately after, a 3-stage automatic QuickTime event will pop up. During this time, you have to quickly select a face button, and if your opponent chooses a different one, you'll land more hits on them. Successfully do this 2 more times, and your character, if equipped with an ultra attack, will perform this attack, and when all is said and done, your opponent will have taken a massive amount of damage. If your opponent correctly guesses the same button as you, however, the QuickTime event will end, but it will end differently depending on when your opponent chooses correctly. Choosing right the first time will actually cause a minor amount of damage to you, the second round will showcase both characters at a stalemate before landing back on the ground, and the third round will show the opponent escaping the final blow at the last second. I like how this was programmed because it balances the outcome for both players depending on which round the same button was selected. The other hyper mode attack is performed by launching your opponent with a specific attack. You'll lose a lot of hyper mode ki if you miss, but if you connect, your character will perform a different signature attack, but again, a QuickTime event decides the outcome. In this one, both players have to hit X at a certain time to build up their own gauge, and whoever builds up more after 3 presses wins. If the defensive player wins, they'll still take quite a bit of damage, but a huge amount more if the attacking player wins. Both of these hyper mode sequences spice up the gameplay, but I found myself wanting more. Perhaps if there had been a third hyper mode option, the game wouldn't have started to feel stale. Don't get me wrong, it's still overall fun, but another option could have unlocked a new Super Saiyan level. The graphics look great. Super flashy and high speeds is what you'd expect from a DBZ game, and this has it. I'd say the mouth movement animations could have used polishing, but for PS2 standards, it's not a big deal. I like the high energy songs for the game's intro and overworld sections. The voice acting is what you'd expect, not that it's a bad thing, although it was weird that Cell's voice wasn't correct based on his active form. When charging up or getting hit, his voice was always from his imperfect form, but when he'd talk, it was his perfect form voice.
You're finished!
It's of course not game-breaking or anything, but it's definitely an error that I wish had been fixed. Within the main menu is the skill shop, where you can purchase skills and battle items from a randomized list. You can even buy skills for characters you've yet to play as in Dragon Universe, so when you do, they already have additional attacks you can use to your advantage. A tournament mode is available and offers significant prizes if you win. Put on the Sparking skill and win big money if you get first place. I played the heck out of this game back in the mid-aughts, and while it doesn't have the same appeal to me like it first did, it's a fun fighter from the Dragon Ball Z universe. What could have made it better is an additional hyper mode attack, or at least if the button guessing QuickTime event wasn't a cookie-cutter template for all characters. A better system for finding optional encounters on the Dragon Universe map is basically needed, as flying around blindly hoping to find something isn't exactly fun, and lastly, I wish Cell's voice was consistent with his active forms. Still, it's a great game, and if you're a DBZ fan, I highly recommend it. This game gets a 4 out of 5 with the title of Awesome.
You are awesome! I can't wait to see what you'll do next time! Later!